Bigfoot is, by definition, big. Some say they grow to be 800 pounds. Could they really climb a tree and hang up there without breaking those branches? Or is this something else?
Every year, countless hikers, hunters, and campers report the same chilling experience. An overwhelming sense that they're not alone. Some catch glimpses of massive, shadowy figures slipping through the trees. Others find unexplainable footprints. The deeper you go, the stronger the feeling gets. But what happens when you finally turn around, only to find nothing there?
Again, about the same size. Mr. 15-inch track here, running up and down the hillside.
Desert Sasquatch is a YouTube channel famous for its relentless search for Bigfoot, uncovering eerie evidence deep in the wilderness. From massive footprints in the snow to distant screams, unexplainable chatter, and mysterious structures, the journey never ceases to deliver chilling discoveries.
I'm gonna stay the night, and I'm gonna do some filming at night. I've got all this stuff I need to use that I don't use.
Each expedition takes viewers through abandoned mines, hidden caves, and untouched forests, where the presence of something unknown lingers just beyond reach. This latest investigation pushes even further into the unknown, revealing structures that defy logic and suggest an intelligence at work. As the camera moves through the rugged terrain, something unusual stands out.
That rock area, a dang gifting zone, but it's just too damn far.
An odd structure made of branches and debris, carefully arranged as if it was built with a purpose. It's not a random pile of broken limbs. Instead, it has the shape of a shelter, something intentionally crafted. The more the investigator examines it, the more unsettling it becomes.
But even for me, it's creepy. Especially this time of day. Once it starts to get evening.
The broken ends of the branches appear fresh, as if this site has been recently used. The area itself is eerily silent, except for the occasional rustling in the distance. Could this be a Sasquatch nesting site, or is it something else entirely? See for yourself as the investigator carefully navigates around the strange formation, trying to determine if it was made by human hands or by something unknown.
See, I think that was probably some kind of a structure at one point. I don't know, maybe not.
Further into the investigation, the evidence continues to build. Another discovery sends chills down the investigator's spine. A massive pile of sticks and logs, deliberately arranged in what looks like a nest or even a hidden entrance.
We need to look and see if that was like that before. I don't remember that. Okay, but it may be.
The precision of the placement suggests intelligence, something far beyond natural forces. This isn't just a random gathering of debris. It looks like a constructed space. If it was built as a hiding spot, then for whom or what? The eerie thought lingers as the camera captures every detail. There are no signs of human activity in the area. No logical reason for this pile to exist in such a remote location. The investigator can feel the weight of something watching, as if he has intruded on a space not meant to be discovered. The forest, once quiet, now feels alive with an unseen presence. Witness the chilling discovery as he examines the site, trying to determine its origin.
Found this, what looks like a damn beaver den. But all the sticks are broken.
Moving deeper into the woods, the investigator reflects on how much his perception has changed over the years. Once a skeptic, he now finds himself unable to ignore the mounting evidence.
I think it was the start of one, but was never finished. You know, I'm not sure. I just know, I'm sure they need some kind of cover.
Winters in this region are brutal, making it nearly impossible to track anything for months at a time. But as the seasons shift, revealing the ground beneath, subtle signs begin to emerge. It's not just about footprints or tree structures anymore, it's about patterns. The more he uncovers, the harder it becomes to dismiss the idea that something intelligent is out here, actively avoiding detection.
I mean, deep. You get lost in here, you freeze to death.
Tracks disappear just before they should become clear. Structures appear in places no human would go. And strange sounds echo through the mountains, always just out of reach. What once seemed like folklore now feels like reality. Experience his thoughts as he pieces together years of findings and questions what else might be hidden in the vast wilderness.
So I think some of the areas closest to him have been scoured, but you can scour an area all you want, but you're still going to miss things.
Each exploration brings new discoveries, new questions, and new reasons to push forward. The structures, the movements, the eerie silence. There is something in these woods, something that has remained a mystery for centuries. But with every investigation, that mystery becomes just a little clearer. What will be found next? The answer lies ahead, waiting to be uncovered.
Hey fam, ready for nightmares? Check out Knock Knock for the scariest, most bone-chilling encounters caught on camera. Link in the description. If you dare.
Baffle Bigfoot is a YouTube channel famous for capturing Sasquatch activity in Florida, often in public places where few would expect. The creator, known as Florida Man, has amassed over 100 Class A sightings on video, documenting mysterious encounters that challenge conventional Bigfoot narratives. In Season 5, the channel has already recorded 10 Bigfoot on camera, showcasing creatures that look different from what most have been told.
Let's see here, I'm getting close. It was at the very end. They built this thing. Everybody wants to know about it, and like all these places.
One of the most baffling discoveries revolves around a possible underground entrance in northern Florida, near Ocala, where unexplained activity has been captured near mining operations. While tracking a suspected Sasquatch hotspot, Florida Man comes across a washed-out section of road, now covered in concrete, making it nearly inaccessible.
Oh dear, okay. I was saying a snake, man. But, you can see the washout of it right here. And some concrete, whatever.
Despite this, he spots what appears to be the cave entrance just ahead. The location is difficult to reach, but it remains in sight, standing out against the altered landscape. Just as he nears the area, an unusual beam of light repeatedly shines down on him at the exact location, as if something, or someone, wants to deter him from proceeding.
It's hard to break into, but it's right in front of me. It's right there.
The closer he gets, the more he realizes this site has undergone significant changes, raising the question of whether someone deliberately tried to cover up the entrance. Watch closely as the cave's entrance comes into view, along with the unexplained light beam that seems to interact with his presence. Further into the exploration, an unexpected movement catches his attention. He quickly takes out his camera but misses the moment by seconds. A dark figure ducks behind cover just as he starts recording. The figure's head was visible for a brief moment before vanishing into the dense surroundings.
We didn't see no Bigfoot in there, and we just cleared it out, and we can play frisbee course in here and do what we want. But that's the connection right here where I'm standing. I just picked this spot like.
As he scans the area, he notices a strange pattern of sticks arranged like a bullseye, resembling a spiderweb formation. These peculiar structures have been found in other reported Bigfoot hotspots, often believed to be territorial markers or communication symbols. As he observes the surrounding landscape, more oddities emerge. Watch closely as the camera captures the stick formation.
That's not him, but it was right there. And then this one right here, he's sitting right next to me.
An eerie reminder that something, or someone, could be marking this location.
He ducked out of that spot right there, and his whole head was up. Yep, look at that. He's completely changed. He had a whole formation of sticks.
As the investigation continues, more signs of possible Sasquatch activity surface. Strange wooden structures stretch through the landscape, with sticks and limbs appearing deliberately positioned in an interwoven pattern. Some of the formations connect to trees, while others resemble entry points into an underground system. A large mound nearby seems out of place, hinting at the possibility of a hidden chamber beneath the surface.
You see the teeth on the bottom? Right there. 2, nostrils and then 2 eyes.
These details are consistent with structures observed in other Bigfoot research sites, where unusual formations often correspond with reported sightings. With so many interconnected patterns, it raises the unsettling question: could these markings be guiding creatures to an entrance hidden in plain sight? Watch as the camera follows the intricate connections between tree limbs, mounds, and possible underground entry points.
A couple times. And like, all I'm talking about is like this, you know, like, it's BS, you know, like.
Later in the investigation, another baffling discovery emerges. A mysterious figure appears just beneath the palm trees, standing motionless as if observing from the shadows. As the camera focuses in, a strange light passes over its eye, making it briefly visible before fading into the background. This figure isn't the only one. Throughout the footage, multiple faces seem to emerge from the dense brush, only to disappear as quickly as they appear.
But eventually, he's gonna transform into something once the sun and the storm came through. They've been hollering at me the whole time. I'm like, they're making sounds at me.
Some researchers believe Sasquatch may have the ability to blend into their surroundings, using natural camouflage to remain undetected. Whether this is an example of such behavior remains uncertain, but the footage captures something undeniably unusual. Watch carefully as the light moves across the figure's eye, revealing its presence for a fleeting moment. As the expedition nears its end, another realization comes to light. The area has undergone significant changes, with construction equipment scattered around. Large machinery sits abandoned near the road, suggesting that recent work may have altered the landscape.
See the big yellow thing? It's a caterpillar. Leave them all by the road. And what happened was, and I know I say Bigfoots.
The presence of heavy equipment raises an important question. Was this location deliberately covered up? And if so, why? With multiple sightings, mysterious structures, and possible underground passages, this site holds more than meets the eye. Watch as the camera pans over the area, revealing the heavy machinery and the possible impact it has had on the investigation. North American Bigfoot Center is a YouTube channel dedicated to investigating and preserving evidence of Sasquatch activity. The center, founded by experienced field researcher Cliff Barackman, serves as a hub for enthusiasts and scientists alike, exploring the deep wilderness in search of proof.
2023, I went for a solo hike in a location that I'm pretty familiar with. I've been to this area before and looked around, and I thought this area is probably good enough to keep my eye on.
On February 4th, 2023, Cliff embarks on a solo hike into a familiar location, a place he has visited before, believing it to be worth continued observation. The day is cold and misty, a typical February scene in Oregon. But the road conditions are good despite recent snow and rain. The damp ground offers a prime opportunity to find fresh tracks of any wildlife moving through, whether coyotes, bears, or possibly even Bigfoot. As he makes his way along the trail, Cliff stumbles upon signs of wildlife.
But on the way out, look what I missed.
But then I started looking. I don't know, man. You tell me. Doesn't that resemble toes?
A small pile of coyote scat appears on the path, an encouraging indicator that animals are indeed active in the area. However, other than that, the road remains largely undisturbed. No deer, no mountain lion tracks, and most notably, no Sasquatch footprints. The thought crosses his mind. Perhaps this isn't the right place, or maybe it's simply not the right time of year. The only way to know for sure is through repeated visits, tracking patterns over time.
This footprint, even though I think it's a maybe at this point, this footprint, if it is what I think it is pretty subtle.
With that in mind, he continues onward, determined to see what the rest of the trail might reveal. A set of impressions in the ground, partially covered by leaf litter, appears to resemble toes. The marks are subtle, yet distinct, lined up in a way that suggests a footprint. 5 rounded shapes form the front, while the rest of the indentation curves slightly. The problem is the surrounding debris. Casting the print would be difficult, as any attempt to remove the leaves would only reveal more rocks underneath. Still, it's a fascinating discovery.
I don't think we can cast this because I stepped on top of this leaf litter and I started moving it away already, but there's not going to be any details underneath. It's just going to expose the rocks.
One that makes him wonder how he walked past it without noticing earlier. Perhaps the print wasn't there before. Maybe something stepped in that spot while he was deeper in the woods. It's a possibility that lingers in the back of his mind. Watch closely. Something catches his attention on the way back, a detail he completely missed before. Now watch as the most crucial part of the process begins, the delicate retrieval of a plaster cast. Having taken the time to create a mold of one of the prints, Cliff prepares to remove it from the ground. The cast is thick, about an inch deep, and prying it loose requires patience. Without a shovel, he carefully digs with his fingers, loosening the soil underneath to break the suction holding it in place. Slowly but surely, the cast begins to lift. The tension is evident. If it cracks, it can be repaired, but the goal is to keep it intact. Bit by bit, he maneuvers it free, revealing the full imprint. Holding it up, he inspects the details.
But yeah, then I'll just let it dry for a day or two, maybe put it by the fire, maybe a week if I feel like it. It's hard to wait a week.
The cast is rough, filled with bits of gravel and leaf litter, but the shape is unmistakable. Some debris can be removed, while other pieces will stay embedded until they dry and fall out naturally. This is where patience comes into play. Letting the cast dry completely is crucial, even if the anticipation is difficult to resist. He recalls past experiences, like when he obtained the London tracks and had to wait weeks before analyzing them. The waiting game is part of the process, but the reward is worth it. Another find is just ahead. Watch as Cliff scans the rocky terrain for additional signs. As he glances back over a particular area, something catches his eye. The ground is uneven, with stones scattered across it, but a distinct impression stands out.
That's interesting. It's just an impression. It is kind of boot size. Let me see how this compares. It's pretty boot size, but who's walking up that?
The shape is subtle, yet the outline appears different from the surrounding formations. Upon closer examination, it becomes clear that something heavy has stepped here. A bend in the soil, a depression where pressure was applied. Evidence of movement. Could it be another track? He pulls out a measuring tool to get a better idea of the size. The imprint measures approximately 12 inches, falling within the range of a boot print.
Well, it's more like 12 and a half. No, it's like 12 inches. That's right there in the boot size. But, I don't know, man. It's a possibility.
But something about it seems off. The way it extends forward, the way the earth is pressed down, it raises more questions. Was it left by a person, or could it be something else? Another clue, another mystery waiting to be unraveled. Mo Sargi is a YouTube channel famous for its intense off-grid adventures and fearless explorations of the unknown. With over 2.8 million subscribers, Mo has become a trusted name for those seeking to escape the noise of everyday life and immerse themselves in raw, unfiltered wilderness expeditions. His videos often take viewers deep into forests, abandoned places, and icy mountains, searching for cryptids, paranormal encounters, and moments that test the limits of human courage.
What is up, Sergeants? Welcome back to our first winter camping video in the RV motorhome in the middle of literally no...
In one of his chilling winter camping expeditions, Mo heads into the frozen forests and mountains on a mission to find Bigfoot. The environment is harsh, temperatures hover around -5 degrees, but Mo is undeterred. He stands at the edge of an icy expanse, contemplating whether the ice is solid enough to hold his weight.
But what we're doing tonight is Bigfoot hunting. This area has had Bigfoot sightings a lot lately, and people have been talking about it. So we are actually going to be spending the night here.
Even though it's not the coldest day, he's cautious. The eerie silence is suddenly broken by an odd growl in the distance. Mo decides to sit quietly for a few moments, listening intently. Whatever made that sound hasn't repeated it, leaving an unsettling question hanging in the air.
Way out there. What the? Huh? That was a weird noise.
Mo wonders aloud whether it could be a moose, but the sound doesn't match anything he's heard before. The growl feels primal, something unnatural. As the hours pass, Mo's friend Chris starts building a makeshift shelter, despite them already having one. Mo hears something strange, something in the sky. There shouldn't be any planes out here. He remembers filming weird drones in New Jersey and now wonders if something similar is happening. They scan both the woods and the sky, now on high alert.
What? What happened? You heard something?
I heard something.
What did you hear?
Hours into their trek, Mo and Chris stumble across footprints in the snow. Mo had walked the area earlier, but not all of these prints are his. They follow them curiously as they head toward a nearby trail, but then abruptly stop.
Okay, so look, I see footprints, I think over there.
Where?
Continuing on, but we're actually literally in the lake right now.
Whoever made them turned around and left. Mo wonders if they got spooked by something. He and Chris stand at the edge of a frozen body of water, trying to decide whether to cross.
All right, let's just take it one step at a time. But just to show you guys, this is all ice.
Yeah.
We could have brought skates and skated this. Oh. Dude, that would be cool.
Mo cautiously steps onto the ice, testing its strength. It's solid, and they slowly move forward, choosing the edge for a safer path. They laugh about how un-Canadian it is to be so wary of ice, but the risk is real. Their goal is to get to the other side, and they figure it's shallow enough not to be dangerous if they fall in. Step by step, they cross the frozen expanse, joking about how they should have brought skates.
Look at this. Next video, skating on a lake.
Later in the night, Mo is behind the camera when something unexpected happens. As he pans across the frozen lake, he catches a glimpse of something strange. A figure appears to be standing on the ice in the distance. But as quickly as it appears, it vanishes. Mo's heart races.
We're about middle of the lake now.
He questions what he's seeing, struggling to trust his eyes in the disorienting landscape of white snow and dark shadows. The thick hat he's wearing makes it hard to hear clearly, but there's a sound, a deep, resonant voice. It's unsettling.
You heard that?
This Bigfoot hunting trip is turning into one of the most dangerous things he's ever done. Walking across a frozen lake at night, surrounded by deep silence and creeping fear, takes a mental toll. The snow and darkness distort his senses, making it hard to stay grounded. As they return to camp, Mo discovers something even more disturbing. Huge footprints right by their RV. These prints weren't there before.
Oh yeah, look at all these prints.
Oh my god.
Right by our, dude, that's right by our freaking campsite.
Oh my god.
There's the RV right there. And look at all these ones.
They're massive, far larger than a human's, and they stretch all around their campsite. Mo and Chris can't figure out how they missed them earlier. They count at least 2 different sets of prints, and it's clear something enormous has been walking on the ice, stalking them without making a sound.
Like, we weren't expecting to walk on the ice, but look, there's 2 of them, like something massive walking on the ice. Look at all these prints.
The realization is chilling. They know Bigfoot is said to be elusive, but now they're wondering if they've just had the closest encounter yet.
Look at this one. That looks like a foot. That looks like an actual Bigfoot, dude. Oh my God. Bigfoot was definitely here. That's his footprint.
This chilling adventure shows why Mo Sargi's channel remains one of the go-to places for cryptid hunters and thrill seekers alike. Whether it's footprints, growls, or unexplained figures on the ice, Mo's explorations deliver genuine moments of fear and awe. Watch yourself. Something's always watching back. Sasquatch Omega is a YouTube channel dedicated to investigating the existence of Sasquatch across various parts of the United States, documenting compelling photographic and video evidence. With years of experience tracking elusive creatures deep in the wilderness, the channel presents first-hand encounters with strange structures, massive footprints, and vocalizations that defy explanation. Each investigation brings unexpected discoveries, and this particular night proves to be no exception. As the sun sets, the forest becomes alive with an eerie energy. The deeper they venture, the more signs emerge.
There's also shelters on this side because there's a mound and then a groove and then another mound right behind it. It's perfect. It's like military. It's precision.
Something is out there, and it's closer than ever before. The first signs of activity come in the form of tree bends and structures scattered throughout the dense woodland. Some branches appear unnaturally twisted and bent, as if shaped by hands rather than the forces of nature. These formations have been reported in Sasquatch encounters worldwide.
And then it's flat.
Yeah,
it's all right there.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Well,
Whatever.
that's exactly what you need to do. You need to look for big, flat, and squish areas.
Believed to serve as markers, shelters, or even territorial warnings. As the team moves cautiously through the area, they stumble upon a fresh set of tracks embedded in the soft dirt. The footprints are large, with deep impressions that reveal distinct toe markings.
He left an incredible footprint. And where is it? There's another one.
Unlike typical human footprints, these have an evident midfoot break, a characteristic often linked to Sasquatch locomotion. The prints continue beyond a nearby fence, suggesting something massive stepped over it with ease. This discovery alone raises the stakes. Whatever made these tracks is close, and it might still be watching. Look closely as the camera zooms in.
Here we are. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Wait,
Oh my God.
Is this the one that we already did?
No, we didn't come out this way.
This way.
Yeah, the other one was going...
No, come up.
Revealing the fine details of the tracks that defy explanation. As the investigation progresses, the evidence becomes even more compelling. Another track, measuring an astonishing 17 inches, is found pressed deeply into the ground. A human foot is placed beside it for scale, and the difference is staggering. The depth of the impression suggests incredible weight, far beyond that of any known animal in the area. The toes are splayed, showing clear separation.
And it's covered with these leans. You could pull those leans back and walk right in there. Okay, now keep going. Now look for prints too. I mean,
And another faint track appears nearby, supporting the idea that multiple individuals could be traveling together. Could this be a family unit moving through the woods under the cover of darkness? The thought alone is chilling. As the flashlight sweeps across the ground, the clearest footprint of the night is revealed, showcasing undeniable details that send a wave of excitement through the team. The contours of the toes, the curve of the foot, and the immense size of the print make it hard to dismiss as anything but genuine. Don't miss this moment as the footprint comes into view, offering one of the clearest pieces of evidence ever recorded.
Oh, yeah.
let me show you how to get into it.
Wow.
Here, tons of this whole trail is prints.
But the discoveries don't end there. As the team moves deeper into the woods, something even more puzzling comes into view. An enormous wall-like structure standing in the middle of nowhere. Thick branches and logs are jammed together, interwoven in a way that seems almost deliberate. It's as if someone, or something, constructed it with a purpose. The complexity of the structure rules out natural causes. Unlike debris scattered by floods or windstorms, these logs are wedged tightly together,
I guarantee you probably never would have come here, right? No one comes here. And so it's very strategic. We can go back inside if you want. Because this is a doorway.
Forming a barrier that stretches several feet high. This is no accident. The thought of Sasquatch being capable of building such formations is both fascinating and unsettling.
If I'm a Sasquatch, back up and see how big this is. There's still plenty of space.
If they are creating structures like this, what else are they capable of? The camera captures every detail, highlighting the sheer scale of the construction and the eerie precision with which it was made. Witness this incredible structure for yourself and decide, could this be the work of an intelligent, unseen presence lurking in the forest?
Big area. Obviously something really big could sit right in there. Let me get in there.
All right.
As the night unfolds, the tension builds. Every crack of a branch, every distant vocalization, and every sign of movement in the shadows adds to the growing sense of unease. With footprints, structures, and strange noises surrounding them, the team is left with more questions than answers. What else is watching from the darkness? Could Sasquatch be closer than anyone realizes? Each piece of evidence uncovered pushes the mystery further, challenging everything we know about the wild and the creatures that might inhabit it. The search for answers continues, and with each step deeper into the unknown, the legend of Sasquatch becomes harder to deny. Salish Sasquatch is a YouTube channel known for its remarkable collection of Sasquatch evidence. Run by Jonathan and Sarah Brown, they live on an Indian reservation in Washington state, where they document encounters, tribal stories, and unexplained activity from their own property. Among their most compelling pieces of evidence is a thermal video capturing what they believe to be a Sasquatch. The footage has gained widespread attention, even being analyzed by experts and skeptics alike. One of the biggest debates surrounding the footage is whether the figure in the thermal video is a Sasquatch or something more mundane, like a cow. Some skeptics argue that a cow wouldn't just walk casually across the screen if a Sasquatch were nearby. However, others point out that the cow in the footage also walks directly in front of Ben and John without any hesitation, suggesting it is familiar with both the humans and whatever else might be in the area.
You saw in that video the shoulders and the head.
After all of my analysis, I've never been able to come up with any alternative explanation other than that it's a Sasquatch.
The cow's indifference raises an interesting question. If the creature in the background were another animal, would the cow react differently? It's clear that whatever is in the footage, it isn't disturbing the natural behavior of the other animals. To further examine the footage, the Browns invited Phil Pauling, an experienced investigator, to review the evidence. Phil takes a methodical approach, breaking down the details of the footage with an investigator's mindset. His analysis confirms that the object in question emits body heat, ruling out inanimate objects or illusions. The shape appears broad at the shoulders, resembling the upper half of a large humanoid figure rather than any known animal. He also takes into account environmental factors such as the surrounding forest, the distance from the camera, and the possible obstructions. His thorough breakdown aims to answer the biggest question: if this isn't a Sasquatch, then what else could it be?
And there was cows behind us right here. And the thing about that night, the rancher was moving some cows out.
Every piece of the puzzle points toward an upright, heat-emitting figure of significant size. See for yourself as the analysis takes a deeper dive into this mystery.
Many believe that this shows the head, shoulders, and chest area of a large Bigfoot.
Accurately determining the size of the figure is another crucial part of this investigation. Researcher David Ellis attempts a size comparison by positioning himself in the same spot where the footage was captured. However, the initial measurements don't align with the original scene, forcing the team to recalibrate their approach. After making adjustments, they find that the figure in the footage stands approximately 7 feet tall and is 4 feet wide at the shoulders. Additional comparisons reveal that even when standing at a higher elevation for scale, a human subject appears much smaller than the figure in the thermal footage. The difference in size and mass is unmistakable, reinforcing the idea that this is no ordinary creature. As measurements continue, more compelling details emerge about the scale of what was captured that night.
My hope is to examine and make an attempt to explain the findings. I think the first thing would be to get a better understanding as to the lay of the land and the scene.
To eliminate the possibility that the figure is simply a trick of the landscape or an illusion, the team reconstructs the scene using precise mapping techniques. Their findings indicate that the figure is not on top of the ridge, but just beyond it, standing on a narrow footpath that runs parallel to the upper ridge. This placement aligns with the location of discovered footprints, adding another layer of evidence to support the idea that something massive was standing there that night. The thermal footage is then overlaid with daytime photos taken from the same location, confirming that the shape seen in the footage is much larger than an average human. Despite attempts to explain the sighting through alternative theories, the evidence consistently points back to a living, heat-emitting figure of significant size. The reconstruction reveals just how massive this figure truly is.
This is the estimated angle of the cow trail, showing a Bigfoot in the location where the tracks were found and cast.
One of the most common criticisms of the footage is that the figure doesn't move. However, Bigfoot researcher Tony stabilizes the footage to show otherwise. When slowed down and analyzed, subtle swaying movements become apparent, shifts in weight, slight rocking motions, and even what appears to be controlled breathing.
But the location of the thermal image is a different story. A short drop to a narrow path, and then a sweeping steep drop beyond the path to the pasture that lays about 40 feet below.
These micro-movements further separate the figure from a stationary object or an animal lying still. The way it shifts side to side is consistent with what has been reported in other Sasquatch encounters, where witnesses describe large, humanoid creatures rocking slightly while observing their surroundings. The stabilization provides a clearer view of the movements that might be missed at first glance. Look closely and judge for yourself.
Just go along slowly. There's a bit of a sort of a sway there, left to right, back and forth.
Despite multiple expert reviews, no definitive explanation has been found that fully debunks the claim that this is a Sasquatch. From the heat signature to the sheer size and anatomical details, every aspect of the footage remains a fascinating mystery. Whether a believer or a skeptic, this case presents compelling evidence that deserves serious consideration. Could this be one of the clearest thermal captures of a Sasquatch ever recorded? Or is there still an unknown explanation waiting to be uncovered? Let us know what you think in the comments. Colorado. Bigfoot is a YouTube channel dedicated to uncovering the mysteries of the unseen world. With over 73.9K subscribers and more than 1.7K videos, the channel dives deep into the search for Bigfoot, documenting compelling evidence that raises questions about what truly exists in the remote wilderness. The man behind the channel has spent years exploring the most secluded regions, capturing footage that challenges conventional understanding. This is one of those journeys, an encounter that stands out among all the rest.
Oh my God. Wait for this. Well, this confirms everything, John. I mean, this is just unbelievable.
Deep within the vast forests of Colorado, the air was thick with anticipation.
Until this happens, I gotta get a video that no one else in the world can do, okay? And what did I just do?
The camera lens focused, capturing something rare. Something that, according to him, no one else had ever managed to document quite like this. "Oh my God, wait for this. This confirms everything," he murmured, his voice filled with restrained excitement. He knew that in this moment he might have recorded something irrefutable. For years he had been on this quest, pushing himself to get the one video that no one else could. And now, it seemed, he had it.
Look at that. Oh my God, you guys. I have like goosebumps inside my body just for myself of seeing that.
As he zoomed in, the weight of the moment settled in. Look at that, he whispered.
That's a giant. Oh my God. It's all seats. Do you know what I mean? Like, you guys, I think so.
I have goosebumps just seeing this myself. The realization hit. This was no ordinary footage. It was something different.
People take it for granted what you're seeing. Nobody else in the world is going to show you that to you. Is it because it's me? No, but it's where I live.
Something that couldn't be dismissed easily. He acknowledged that many might take these sightings for granted, but he didn't. He knew the rarity of what he had captured. Nobody else in the world is going to show you this. Because it's me. Because it's where I live. This is what I do.
See that? That massive X.
I see it. You guys, look, they are...
Moving deeper into the forest, he sensed an unseen presence. One that had deliberately led him away before. They don't want me seeing this, he muttered, recalling past experiences where he had felt an inexplicable force guiding him away.
Here's the thing. They didn't bring me over here. They don't want me seeing this.
I did.
I see how I missed it. I must see this stuff you cannot see. I've been as close as real close.
This time, however, he had caught something. The footage didn't rely on whistling sounds or vague shapes. It was clear. The silence was even more telling. He and his companion had their food out, expecting movement.
Must have went up. I got super zapped. They brought me away from this. They weren't whistling. We had the Jays come in. They just came in, looked at us, and left. Not one sound.
But what they got was something different. A silent observation. Whatever was out there had made its presence known without making a single sound.
In need of just a little bit more of a push. I'm not trying. But what is that? What do I gain by? So anyway, look at this.
Examining an ancient trident-shaped tree structure, he speculated on its origins. If the wood on that trident was tested, it would be impossible to accurately date. It's been here for centuries, maybe even longer.
Trident was tested. I mean, it's impossible to really date. You have to take all the conditions. Remember, they rarely see water here. I mean, this thing is hundreds and hundreds. I would say on the it can't be any younger than 500.
The dry conditions preserved it in a way that defied typical decay. This tree was part of their world. They make these structures when they're little, and they last. His words carried a certainty built on years of experience.
If I say 1,000, it seems long, but obviously it's been moved since. But this tree has been...
A belief that the patterns and structures found in these forests weren't just random. They were intentional.
Oh, they're just popping in right there. Look, congregation, like they all hang out here.
Pausing, he introduced John, a seasoned observer from the UK who had spent years studying similar phenomena. Most of you know John. He doesn't seek attention. He just documents what he finds. John, a railroad supervisor.
So let me just introduce John for those of you that do not know. Most of you do. John's famous in energy overload. He's
had encountered inexplicable occurrences in different parts of the world, yet nothing quite compared to what they were seeing now.
Doesn't seek attention, doesn't put it on YouTube, nothing. So most of the people watching know who John is, but if you don't, he's from the UK.
He's one of the hardest workers I know, he added, emphasizing John's dedication to understanding.
To there, I think. But I never saw any of that stuff. Did you see the way that looked?
Yep.
What lay beyond the ordinary, what they discovered next, was unlike anything before. It's like an elevator, just moving. The way the environment shifted before their eyes was unsettling. It wasn't just about footprints or structures.
Exactly, mate. It's like an elevator. Porter.
No, I meant that. The trident.
There was a pattern to the way things moved. He struggled to put it into words, but the footage spoke for itself. Insane. Just walk. he muttered, still processing what he was witnessing.
Watch this. Without over editing, trying to zoom and play it, just when I replay this, just watch right there. You can watch him. He closes his eyes.
Zooming in on a specific point, he noticed movement. Watch this. He closes his eyes, he pointed out.
I'm so sorry. So if you watch, you can see he'll blink or close his eyes. There's also clearly one right.
It wasn't just one figure, there were two. There's another one, right on the other side of the tree. You can see him too. He enhanced the view just enough to make it clear. I knew it.
On the other side of the tree too, you can see as well. I'll just do a quick zoom so you can tell. But yeah, there's two of them right there. I knew, so.
He's the one hitting me with the big-time energy, he said, referring to the overwhelming sensation he often experienced in these encounters. This wasn't just about seeing something, it was about feeling it.
You know, in the mud or something. But I've filmed, 5,000 impressions if they're actually real footprints. Bone.
He had filmed thousands of impressions over the years, but what they found that day was different.
Wow. Smiley tit.
Look at these footprints, he said, crouching down to examine them. These weren't ordinary tracks. The depth, the shape, the sheer size.
You're not by any chance zooming on a tree, are you?
Zooming on them, mate, over there.
It all pointed to something large, something powerful. These are real footprints.
Because we're leaving, they're all starting to come on now. Waiting for us to go.
Bone structure, weight distribution. You can see it all right here.
But I really wasn't kidding. What's wrong with you? Try doing this. Try being by yourself.
Standing alone, he spoke to the camera, addressing those who doubted the existence of what he was documenting. Try doing this. Try standing in front of something unknown every day of your life, filming it, knowing it's watching you just as much as you're watching it.
Standing in front of aliens, filming them every single day of your life. Sometimes I know he's over there invisible, so I'm going to show him to you, right? But I do it.
His voice carried the weight of experience, the countless hours spent in isolation, searching for answers that most people never even thought to ask.
Don't have to come back, but look. Can you see that thing? That mushroom is like crazy looking.
He turned his attention to something peculiar. That mushroom. Look at it. It's different, like nothing I've ever seen before. The forest was filled with anomalies, subtle but significant.
That thing looks... Are you serious? Who's your good boy?
These details, seemingly minor on their own, built a bigger picture. Are you serious? That thing is strange. Did it die? These are worth money. They're rare.
You don't have to see it. It's right there in front of you. He's here. The whole ground moved underneath me.
Then something happened. The ground beneath him shifted, not in a dramatic way, but just enough to make his heart race. The whole ground moved underneath me, he said. Not like an earthquake. It was different.
But not like a stomp. It was like an accident. Yes, look at this. This is the only place in the world, I think that where you can find their petrified structures,
He scanned the area, knowing that whatever was causing this wasn't visible, at least not in a way that human eyes could easily perceive. As the day came to an end, he reflected on what had just transpired. Listen to me. This is legit. His voice was steady, but the emotion was evident.
I have more worlds, real worlds of Sasquatch than anyone in the world.
Look at that. You see it, right? He turned the camera towards the evidence, letting the footage speak for itself. This is what we came for. And now, you've seen it too. The search continues. The unseen world remains just beyond reach, waiting for those willing to step into the unknown.
You little guy. Hey, listen to me. Listen to me.
Got a legit. It's a legit one.
It's legit, family.
Yeah.
Far from the hum of civilization, a man, his wife, and their daughter had built a cabin with their own hands. It was more than just a home. It was a watchtower in the heart of the unknown, a place where mystery and reality blurred. They weren't just living in the woods, they were searching. For years, stories of giant, elusive creatures had echoed through the mountains. The locals whispered about the shadows that moved between the trees, the guttural sounds carried by the wind, the enormous footprints that led to nowhere. The family had heard the tales, but they wanted proof.
I'm about to give you a detailed look at all the Bigfoot evidence that humans have discovered to date.
One evening, as the fire crackled and the night stretched into a thick, consuming blackness, the man adjusted his camera. "I'm about to show you everything we've gathered so far," he said. The evidence wasn't just hearsay. Footprints, DNA, eyewitness reports. These weren't just random encounters. They were threads in a pattern stretching back centuries. "This isn't just a local legend," his wife murmured, scanning through old reports. "It's everywhere, from the Pacific Northwest to the Great Lakes, from the Appalachian Mountains to the forests of Canada." The stories were eerily similar. Seasoned hunters, law enforcement, even military personnel, people trained to observe, not to imagine, had all claimed to see something.
Plus a whole lot more that's probably being kept from us. Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, the wild man of the woods.
One of the most chilling encounters came from a hunter in British Columbia. He had watched, frozen in place, as something impossibly tall, covered in thick brown hair, stepped effortlessly through the trees.
These names have echoed across cultures and continents for centuries, describing a creature that science has yet to classify, but thousands of witnesses.
"Its stride was too fluid," the hunter had said, "like it wasn't even touching the ground." The man exhaled, staring at the footage on his screen. "It's like they know how to stay hidden," he muttered.
With most sightings occurring in the Pacific Northwest, the Appalachian Mountains, and the Great Lakes region.
Then there were the sounds. Ron Moorhead, a researcher, had once captured eerie, guttural chatter deep in the Sierra Nevada wilderness.
These reports aren't just from casual hikers or over-enthusiastic campers either. They include stories from seasoned hunters, police officers.
Experts had analyzed the recordings. They didn't match any known language. "We not only saw movement," Moorhead had said, "but we heard something talking."
Some of the most intriguing evidence for Bigfoot comes in the form of audio recording, capturing eerie sounds that experts have struggled to explain.
But what truly unsettled the family were the indigenous stories. For generations, tribes had spoken of a being that wasn't just an animal, but a force of nature, a guardian, a predator, or something in between.
Was walking on two legs, taller than any human I've ever seen, covered in dark brown hair. Its stride was effortless.
The night outside the cabin felt even darker. The wind rustled the trees, but it wasn't just the wind.
Almost fluid, and it turned to look at me for just a moment before vanishing into the tree line. End quote.
"You hear that?" the man's wife whispered. His daughter leaned closer to the window, her voice barely above a breath. "It's out there, isn't it?" He didn't answer.
For many indigenous communities, Sasquatch is more than just a creature. It is a symbol of the wild, untamed spirit of the land.
The deeper they went into the research, the more unnerving the evidence became. Footprints, some over 20 inches long, found in places no human could have walked.
The prints measured 13 inches in length and showed a stride pattern too long for a human.
Videos, figures moving through the trees just out of reach of clarity. The infamous Patterson-Gimlin film, still unexplained after decades of scrutiny. And then, the recordings.
To their reputations, these individuals consistently describe similar creatures and behaviors. The sheer volume and consistency of these reports.
Somewhere in the mountains, a deep guttural growl had been captured. It was low, powerful, unlike anything science could classify. Experts had studied the vocal range, the frequencies, Whatever had made that sound had lungs far larger than a human's. "It's not a bear," the man muttered. "It's not anything we know."
Well, the Paul Freeman footage presents another compelling encounter with what appears to be a large, hairy figure.
The most controversial story came from a hunter named Smeja, who claimed to have shot a Sasquatch.
A hunter who claimed to have recovered flesh and hair from a Sasquatch he encountered in the Sierra Nevada mountains.
He described it as massive, covered in dark brown hair, with human-like hands and feet, but larger. Panic had taken over, and he had left the body behind.
Smeja described the creature he shot as, quote, massive, covered in dark brown hair, with hands and feet like a man.
"I didn't know what I was looking at," he had said. "I just knew I had to leave." But what if he wasn't lying? There was also the Minnesota Iceman, a supposed Bigfoot-like creature frozen in ice, displayed in the 1960s.
It was a supposed Bigfoot-like creature, frozen in ice, displayed in the 1960s by carnival owner Frank Hansen.
Respected scientists had examined it, but before further research could be conducted, it mysteriously disappeared, replaced with a replica.
Both respected scientists examined the frozen creature before it was replaced with a replica. Dr. Uvelmans wrote, quote,
"Had someone hidden the truth?" The man stared out into the darkness beyond the cabin. For years he had searched for the truth. Now the truth was staring back. Maybe Bigfoot was just a myth. Maybe it was just folklore, just stories passed down through generations. Or maybe it was standing right outside their door. "So, what do you think?" the man asked the camera.
If you want to show me extra support and contribute to future projects, I'll leave a link to my Buy Me a Coffee page in the description. Thanks for watching.
Legend or reality? The answers were out there, waiting. So, what do you think? Are these encounters proof that Bigfoot is real, or just the result of overactive imaginations? Have you or someone you know ever experienced something unexplainable in the woods? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your theories. And if you enjoyed this dive into the unknown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more. Until next time, stay curious, and maybe don't wander too deep into the forest alone.